Hey everyone, I'm Rather Coherent, back with another heavily modded XCOM 2 campaign. These past 2 or 3 weeks, I've been working on a set of rebalance mods to fine-tune the balance issues we were seeing with our 8-man campaign previously. I'm really happy with where they're at. I think this will be a much more balanced campaign, also a much harder campaign. Unfortunately, with nearly 400 mods, I am not able to succinctly explain what these mods are. I can make an hour-long video and still leave things out. I'm going to try to explain everything from mods as they come up. Things will slip through the cracks, I'm just going to do my best, please bear with me. Now, let's get right into the new campaign. I'm playing on Legend, no beginner VO, under advanced options. We're going to be skipping Busy Skies this time. I really like it, thematically it just makes logical sense, but in terms of game balance, you end up with more alloys earlier and it doesn't quite feel fair. I am playing with Grim Horizon. This is a middle ground between the original Grim Horizon and the base game called Grim Horizon Light. I've got a couple of mods relating to it. And what it does is you still have to endure the first, say, 6 weeks or whatever the Dark Event duration is. And then after that point, it will stay around indefinitely unless you do something, and you will be given covert operation chains to try to get rid of them, if you're willing to invest the time and manpower and risk. Now, in terms of what starting allies are going to use, there are 3 mindsets. You can start with Reapers, because they are the best at scouting, the best at giving you the information required to keep control. You can start with Templars, because they're the best at consistent damage and crisis management when you lose control. Or you can do what I'm about to do and start with the Skirmishers. I don't know why you would do it, to be honest, I don't have a good reason. But I'm doing it because I just made a Skirmisher rebalance mod to buff the Proficiency Skirmishers. I'm playing with Proficiency class pack, all the classes have been replaced, and while Skirmisher is a much more thematically identified class than it used to be, it's a much stronger class than it used to be, it doesn't keep up with Reapers or Templars still in my eyes. So I buffed it substantially. It's got a very heavily reworked tree that we'll talk about when we get to it. The only thing that's going to matter now is that I've increased their aim scaling at Kernel from 15 to 20, which is the middle ground between 15 where Marines are at and 25 where things like Reapers and Marksmen are at. Anyway, enough of mod talk, let's get into it. Well, slight mod talk, I guess. We're not playing with Iron Man because we have nearly 400 mods installed, including ones that I just made, so I mean, the idea we're not going to have to reload our save at some point to troubleshoot something is ludicrous. We're going to play on Honest Man. I'm only reloading in the case a mod caused problems, otherwise we're going to push through it. Integrated downloadable content is off. That means that the rulers will show up randomly once we get to the right force levels, as opposed to showing up at alien bases and waiting for us to come knock on their door. I prefer it like this because any form of structure where you are encouraged not to progress the game, otherwise the game gets harder, is something I dislike. A good example of that is in the base game, codexes don't show up until you skulljack a codex. So just don't waste your time and money making a skulljack and don't skulljack anybody and the game gets easier, and then progress the story all in one chunk at the end and it'll just be the easiest it possibly could be. So of course I've got a mod to fix that and I won't be checking this box for the same reason. Let's get into it, and I mean let's get right into it. We're not watching the opening cutscene, we've all seen it a dozen times before. Let's go crash some gates. Alright, so first things first. A lot's going on that needs to be explained already. We have 8-man squads. That's a bunch of changes I've made with my Rain Rebalance set of mods to enable Covert Infiltration as an 8-man game. Covert Infiltration already starts you with a static 6-man squad that never increases in size. I've bumped that up to 8. I've scaled up enemies to compensate. Every enemy pod you ever see in this campaign is going to have 2 more enemies in it, which is honestly probably a little bit harsher than it needs to be. But that's alright, I don't mind a challenge. Next up, you'll notice a bunch of UI above all of our soldiers. This is the extended unit flag. It gives you a lot more information very concisely. In the top right, we have quick soldier info to tell us everything about our soldiers. Their actions left, their class, their rank, their names, their health, and their will, everything. And you can click on it to change soldiers. Now, going through our soldiers, you'll notice they all have wild names like Broken Basilisk. I have a character pool that has a bunch of wacky Metal Gear style code names and a moderately customized characters. Today we have Broken Basilisk, our Skirmisher, and our gaggle of 7 rookies. Perfect Tragedy, Jaded Rabbit, Flagship Inferno, Bio Banshee, War Eater, Minuscule Magpie, Marionette Owl, and that'll be the whole gang. Next, down here, what is this bar for the Skirmisher? Proficiency Skirmishers are something that I built my rework off of. Everything you see in this video today is going to be from the baseline Proficiency Skirmisher, except for this number. That number would have been 68 in the base game, as I mentioned earlier. You'll see why this aim is important in a hot second once I actually get into a fight. For now, they have a heat seek mechanic. When they shoot their gun, they build 2 heat. That's what this bar down here is. And every turn when they end their turn, they have a 20% chance per heat to lose a heat. So the longer you're in a fight, the longer you're shooting with your Marauder perk, the more heat you have. What does heat do? It gives you a 7.5% crit chance on your Ripjack for every level of heat, and 1 damage for every 2 levels of heat, and you start with the Ripjack. It's not a late game ability with a cooldown, it's just a melee ability like a ranger would have. Of course, we're not done yet. You can see up here we have active and killed. If we had a shadow chamber telling us the contents of the mission, we'd even have a total under it. But for now, when we find pods and activate them, they'll show up here, and when we kill enemies, they'll show up here. It just helps you keep track of the tactical layer a little bit better. And in the top, you can see rescue the prisoners. That's not what you do on Gatecrasher, because this is not the normal Gatecrasher. There are some prisoners over here, a scientist and an engineer, and we're here to rescue them. They're our first. This mission also doesn't have 3 pods like a normal Legend Gatecrasher. It has 4, which with my changes to enemy pod size is in a total around 16 enemies. Kind of a lot. Anyway, let's get into it. And as a heads up for anyone who actually has been watching the other videos I put up, last minute changes to the campaign, I'm not running any additional map mods or parcel mods. I was encountering a lot of line of sight bugs and I got frustrated with it. I want to make sure they're all coming from the base game and not from problematic mods. This is the only way for me to check. And I'm also not running Peek from Concealment because I feel like it's just a little bit too lenient. I'd rather play with the base system. I feel like I'm buffing myself a bit too much, even though I prefer that stealth system. Now, it's probably just seen I wasn't paying enough attention. We do see a med drone, that's from a better advent. And we're going to be seeing a lot of them because that's the most prolific mod of all the ones I've installed. It's sort of our baseline fleshing out of enemy classes. Officer, 2 troopers. Based on the way they're standing around, I kind of think there's a 5th guy over here. Odds are decent they move towards us and pin us. Jaded Rabbit is out of actions. I'm going to move everyone away to give us the best chance of leaving possible. If we get pinned and we have to fight them, it's fine. I just really do not want to.
Moving to designated coordinates.
Down here, I'm going to move all the way down and see if we see anything else. I have Yellow Alert installed, so if I start throwing grenades and shooting guns, that makes noises, and pods react to that and come towards us. So even though I don't want to pull 2 pods at once... Hello, mysterious T-posing trooper? I'm not going to think too hard about that one. Anyway, like I was saying, because of Yellow Alert, I'm worried about making noise. I want to see if pods are near me before this fight potentially starts. For these last 2 soldiers, I'm just going to put them where they can be without moving them off the high ground in case we need them for an oncoming fight. Which I'm very worried is in fact the thing that's going to happen. I just heard a bunch of doors opening off to our right. I don't know if that was 2 doors stacked on top of each other or just 1, but we definitely have people inside the main building, and they are coming straight at us. They aren't moving that far though, so we might not be pinned. I don't know. I can hear people moving around on the right. There they are. We have a sectoid, a frost trooper, and some more. I'll talk more about troopers once I actually can see them and F1 them to show you the details. But for now, can't do too much. Okay, we're not pinned, we can leave. And as it turns out, my favorite target to ambush in the whole game is this sectoid pod. So let's get moving this way, get better eyes on them, and see if we can't take this high ground and get an ambush going. They are in fact far enough away that I can get in here, but I can't really get to the high ground this turn. That's acceptable. We can set up to take it next turn. Down here with Basilisk, I'm just going to grapple into the high ground. Oh, I can actually get on top of it? I don't play with grapples enough. Is this high cover or half cover? If I can't get in half cover behind this, I'm gonna be very sad. Good. Go be king of the castle, Mr. Skirmisher. And anyone who can get in this second level obviously should. We know that sectoid pod is moving towards us, so this is a viable ambush in a few turns. I'm trying to decide where the best place to be for the rest of my soldiers is. I think moving forward is probably it. I think it's closer to them instead of further right. Is there any risk of being pinned? No, I can afford to be here. And it wouldn't even be pinned, it would just be revealed. I'd be getting flanked. So they probably keep walking towards us. He's just flickering in and out of existence a little bit, don't worry about it too much. Yeah, they're still coming towards us, that's what I want to see. Now it's just a decision of how do I want to do this Overwatch. Definitely with Perfect Tragedy, with this high ground, I want to Overwatch here. Before we get too far into this ambush, let's talk about Frost Troopers. They're from Frost Legion. They have cryo grenades. Throws a grenade, deals damage, and inflicts Bitter Frost. Bitter Frost is a mechanic from the Bitter Frost Munitions mod. What it does is on the first shot, it slows you slightly. On the second shot, it slows you substantially. On the third shot, it freezes you, so it's a stacking debuff. Now, at this point in the game, if you get shot 3 times, you're dead, so that really doesn't matter too much. But later on, groups of these guys can lay down volume of fire and be a threat that way. They also have something called an ice shield. You'll notice that this guy actually only has 2 health into ablative health, and that ablative health is special. It's an ice shield. It reduces all damage by 50% while he has any of it, and it gives him immunity to cold debuffs. However, it also makes him vulnerable to fire and psionic damage, taking double from those sources. I think I'm close enough on Bio Banshee that I want to Overwatch on them. And I don't have vision in the pod behind me, which is good. I think I take the grenade here, because I'm just far enough back with Flagship Inferno that I don't think I can really get a good shot with them. And I want to blow up as much of the cover as possible to prevent them from going backwards. It's not going to work, they're going to go backwards, but I'm going to try. And let's see how this goes. We sort of skipped the rest of the grenade, don't you think? No one's dead, but we've taken down the shields, gotten them into one-shot range. Very good Overwatch shots for the ones that actually did go off. That was perfect. Now, do you happen to have flank targets up here? Unfortunately not. Even without a flank, though, it is a 62. I'll take this 62 and then circle round to ripjack the sectoid. Missing that's unfortunate, but I do have the guaranteed, alright, not quite guaranteed, but 1 in 50 to miss on this sectoid. So just don't 1 in 50. I've got no doubts we can wrap up the rest of this fairly easily. I thought I was in a different position on that ripjack than I was. Okay, so first up, you didn't get a chance to see it. I'm running 2 mods that are relevant right now. The one you're seeing right now is Loot Pinata's Light. Because you have 33% more soldiers, and with Covert Infiltration, you're going to need to make gear for each individual soldier, you need to make 33% more gear. You need 33% more Elerium and alloys. I'm running Loot Pinata's Light to try to make up that difference, which gives us small chances at small quantities of Elerium and alloys on every loot drop. I'm also running Explosives Destroy Corpses, because with double the enemies, you get way too many corpses and way too many supplies, so that'll just remove some of them from the game and help to balance out that. Now, if everyone else could help save the life of the skirmisher that I've recklessly endangered for literally no reason, I would greatly appreciate that. Here, I can just move out and take the flank shot. It's an interesting path, but it works. I thought he was just gonna go out the front door. 1 in 3 to get awkward. Thankfully, it didn't. I can grenade both of these soldiers. So something interesting to know, I finally figured out what causes step outs to not happen, because this is full cover, but I'm not stepping out. You don't step out if the target is flanking you. I'm not sure how that's calculated, but that's 100% what it is. It's not about high cover or low cover. If your cover is flanked relative to them, you don't step out towards them. I'm just going to move up on Jaded Rabbit and try to take a shot here.
On your order.
Because it'll be pretty good with the high ground and the close range. It's a 57, like it's not great, but I want to avoid using these grenades. There we go. Is anyone else really able to get up top? No. And this guy's in full cover and there's no flank available. This is just like very obviously gonna have to be a grenade. And we could, instead of grenading, just like Overwatch and not worry about it too much. He's only got a 35, he's never hitting for 4. But because I've just sort of left my skirmisher out in the open like a chump, I don't really have an option here. Move Magpie over as well. I'm just moving to the right to minimize our sight lines. Magpie's a little closer to where I expect the enemies to come from. And I'll wipe this guy out with a grenade. It's a waste of supplies, it's a waste of grenades, but we gotta do it. They came running just like we expected because of all those grenades. They were pretty close, so they're gonna get some Yellow Alert actions. The way Yellow Alert works for their actions, I have Yellow Alert Light installed, is they only get to take defensive and utility actions. They can't run up and shoot or mind control or anything like that, but they do get actions. That time it was just the officer marking. But the chance of having that action is based on how far they've moved. The less they've moved, the more likely they are to get an action to represent the fact that you're basically stealing their turn from them when they only get their scatter movement and not their second action. Whereas if they had to move a full movement into you and then scatter, they've essentially dashed and that's a full turn. Now they currently have high ground to me and I hate that. I hate every single bit of that. What I can do, since they're all far back, is I could actually just sprint back here and break line of sight to the high ground. They can't single move to me. The people down here are in indestructible full cover. Like, it's not a great spot to fight. The Ripjack I've got is... like, it is a kill on this gunslinger. There's no cover to shoot this from, but there's a trooper behind it would be a problem. If I could find a way to consistently deal with that trooper, it would be viable. I'm gonna move forward to here and see if this pulls. If it does, we're in a really bad spot, but it didn't. You know, I said his cover was indestructible. Only one of these chumps has indestructible cover. And that makes the situation very manageable. I'm not happy about the low ground shot here, but it looks like he can't get anywhere that's gonna make it to low cover. It's at least against high cover. The officer does have a chance to kill here. There's no mitigating that, unfortunately. It's just a low chance. We take out the gunslinger here. That's 100% what's happening. Very nice. Imagine how much worse that feels with 93 instead of 98. More than doubled a chance of failure from 2% to 7%. More than tripled, actually. 5 aims, not an individually huge amount, but when your character class is reliant on consistently landing melee, it's sort of tremendously meaningful. It also helps these early levels where I have a bullpup that's not accurate at long range, and my soldier has low aim, and I don't have scopes, and I don't have aim PC assets. But let's not ramble too much about the changes I made. Let's get into this fight. I think I'm gonna move minuscule magpie here. I've already checked most of this fog, but I am pulling 2 more tiles. This is a little bit sketch, but yeah, I just needed a good full cover position if I'm trying to shoot this man. Good, good, good. Jaded Rabbit can move to the opposite side for full corner cover.
Moving to position.
I'm not sure if I have any great shots in here, like I can chip a med drone, but I just feel I should have someone here. Oh, I can try to chip a med drone. And there's no risk of a flank, so Perfect Tragedy can do the same thing. We're gonna have to throw some shots at this med drone to kill it eventually, and I guess we're paying our dues now. We're not really making progress, but whatever. I can move to this full cover here on Perfect Inferno, get out of the low ground, take another useless shot at this med drone. Oh my god, someone actually hit him. I thought he was untouchable. Wait, Broken Basilisk actually has a line of sight to that? I don't know why I thought he wouldn't have line of sight there, like he obviously should. If I were here, he shouldn't have line of sight, but I'm not, and I couldn't have been because the corpse is here. That was out of range. Hilariously, if I had stood here, which would have been a viable location, there would be no flank. No, there would. He could drop around the corner. Look, just don't get shot. He's only got 75 aim plus high ground. There's a 5% chance he misses you. It's easy. But serious talk, you're more valuable to me than Rookie, so I'll give him other targets. Would he be more likely to shoot someone who's Overwatch? Would that be enticing to him? I should have checked Marionette Owl's will before I did that. Oh, it's 45. It's only one of the best soldiers I've got. It's not a big deal.
On it.
Anyway, just give him lots of tasty flanks so that when he pretty much guarantees hit somebody, he's rolling to kill on someone other than Basilisk. Yeah, see? Worried just fine. Oh, he flashbanged us. We gave him an appealing flashbang target. That's brilliant. I forgot he had grenades, but I totally should have been trying to bait that grenade. If you can miss, though, that would be nice. Thank you.
Incoming fire.
Look, Disoriented isn't dead. You all need to stop whining right now. Magpie still has their grenade. May as well throw it at the officer. May as well reload first. Everyone else is disoriented and not going to be doing anything relevant here. Let's see it. If this could blow up the whole tree, that would be very helpful. It's not going to, but it'd be nice if it did. Is there a flank here? Yeah, there is a possible flank by continuing to move into the low ground. Alright, so what I want to do is kill the drone with one of these guys, drop over with Flagship Inferno, and then move down with Jaded Rabbit and chuck another grenade. Let's see if that's going to work. Can you make it happen? We've missed enough 50s on this guy already, right? Okay, thank you. Don't even talk to me about Gambler's Fallacy. Now we can run down in this half cover and chuck another grenade at the officer. This will hopefully finish off his cover, or we could just get lucky and high roll 1 in 5 times to kill him. That would be nice. But the cover goes down, we can bring him down, so it's all the same. There we go. Oh, now you don't have vision of them. Yeah, okay, I see how it is. Fine. Marionette Owl, would you like to do the honors? You can reload first and everything. You know, this gets real dangerous if everyone misses. Just as a reminder, your lives are still hanging in the balance here. Just move a little bit closer to get into relative cover. 48.
Adjusting aim.
Who do we have left? We have Bio Banshee. It's getting embarrassing. We're at like 1 in 8 to miss all of these shots.
Missed.
Which means it's 1 in 16 for him to miss too. I can just walk into the open and shoot him easy. What's Gambler's fallacy? I'm so tempted to do this. It's literally a 50% to lose my skirmisher. Why do I want to do that? I guess because he's already taking a shot, right? He's got high ground shots against low cover. So with his base aim plus 5, that's an 80% chance. The odds of someone getting wounded anyway are so high. Whoops. 70%. Thank you. And if he had missed, I was going to leave, what's his name? Please stop hanging. I'm trying to figure out who this is. Flagship Inferno. If he had missed, I was going to leave Flagship Inferno where he was and move this way, or shoot over here, rather. Now that he hasn't missed, I can either shoot or overwatch or just drop over the edge. There's no cover up here to run to. There's this tree. If he has to move, and he can make it to that tree. So I actually cannot safely drop over the edge. I need to overwatch to stop him from taking this position. He can run the overwatch, take a flank shot later. Okay, that looked like he was running to get on the tree and take a flank shot at Basilisk anyway. That would have been a hell of a suicide flank if he was running here for that shot like I think he was. It didn't work out for him, but I'm impressed by the Moxie. And this. Still there, huh, buddy? So what I'm gonna do is move everyone backwards and regroup and reload my guns for a hot second and make sure no one's running towards the sound of all this gunfire. Because there's kind of a lot of it. Alright, that's everyone overwatched. And I'll be back with you once I'm ready to push into the map, once we're all reloaded and safe.
I've got eyes on Advent troops.
Alright, we're not reloaded, we're not safe, but we are all overwatched with a good chunk of us in high ground when they patrolled into us. So I doubt it's gonna go well for them.
Negative damage.
You need to stop running towards us, Mr. Officer. I know we're all terrible shots, but it's still incredibly dangerous for you. It looks like this big piece of full cover blocked about half our Overwatch shots from going off, which is unfortunate. Oh no, we just all shot at this guy and missed. Okay. For 8 Overwatch shots, failing to kill anyone and only dealing 6 damage isn't that good. It's pretty rough, actually. My bullpup is not yet reloaded down here, but I can take a Ripjack strike here from full cover, which is pretty solid. We do need kills on Trooper, Gunslinger, Sniper. Both of these are ABA units. Sniper is originally a Force Level 2 unit that I've moved down for unit balance reasons involving the total number of variant troopers versus normal troopers with my own mods. There's still one more pod. It's probably pretty far in the back, but I don't know that. No one's really stacked well enough to throw a grenade at anything. I've got a guaranteed kill with a grenade there, and here on the officer. I would just rather not if I can avoid it. We've got flank shots on these two, actually, so I don't really think I need to shoot that officer, or stab him, rather. Still terrifying. This is the only soldier with a flank shot on this trooper, so I'm going to take this instead. Very nice.
Target eliminated. Ammo out.
Warshade's going to move down and make a similar play, and we've got people stacking up on this flank. It does mean we're going to have half-cover shots coming in against us. And snipers are a role to kill, unfortunately. It looks like we don't actually have to take that risk. We can take full cover here, and full cover here. Let's see if we can't stay in full cover on everyone this turn. 74 and 67. How big is the gap back here? 67 and 65. Meaningless back here. So we definitely take the better shot here against the officer. Officer's down. We can move on to the next one. Good job, War Eater. Bio Banshee, how's your accuracy looking? It's alright. We can't all be winners. If I were to move inside the building, I would have no eyes on anything. If I were to move around the back of the building, I would have eyes on everything. But I'd also be flankable. This Gunslinger needs to die. Gunslingers at level 1 have a face-off. I should go ahead and talk about their abilities. He just has face-off. He doesn't hit very hard, but is very annoying and wounds everyone. And the Advent Sniper has a sniper rifle and a smoke grenade. I've also just found out that to find out how far they move, I don't have to click toggle movement and go through them. I can just click on the unit. That's so helpful. If I had, like, the biggest balls in the whole world, I could go for this. I could actually grapple up to get more movement and then in full cover in case it pulls. Let's just take these high ground shots. What am I doing? Why have I not already done this? You guys are taking your high ground shots at half cover. Let's get that over with. Why am I thinking about anything else?
Locked and loaded.
You are in half cover, my friend.
I'm ready.
But everyone else is fine. Well, take this shot. It's not a great shot, but it's what you're doing. Yeah, sure. Just kill him at 43. I look forward to you all missing consecutive 90% flake shots on a sectoid in a few days. Okay, so at this point, we can just move everyone into high cover. We don't have to take any risk here beyond getting shot at once. And odds are, regardless, this guy's just gonna fall back and run away. He has line of sight of all your units if he sees even one of them, so I can't put someone, like, here, because he'll know he can just run out here and take the flank shot. I am just gonna fall back inside the building on these last two soldiers. It turns out it's the last three soldiers, but still. Actually, if you have blue move, you can just move forward and then hunker down. It's even better than full cover. I'll take the reload here, and he probably just runs away. That's what I thought. We now have a good idea where the last pod is. It's around the back of the building somewhere. Now, they should just come our way naturally, right? We all just hang out in this building, we're gonna get to see them. I'm going to set up assuming that's the case and just try to Overwatch trap again.
I come.
Got a couple of completely empty guns that need to be reloaded over here, which is a little bit of a shame. I'm gonna reload here too. I don't think they'll be showing up this turn. I think he's got a couple turns till he makes it back. And from here, we just Overwatch until they finally show back up. I'll see you when they get here. You know, I think that old bit of code that just makes them hang out right on the edge of vision, I don't think any of the AI changes that have happened in all my mods have fixed that. I think they know exactly where I am and what I'm doing, and they're refusing to walk into vision. Gonna make me fight fair after all this effort to cheat you? Okay, fine, we're moving forward. We don't have a choice in the matter. The AI has no interest in coming to play. We will still be Overwatch crawling, though. We're not exactly taking it fast. I'll get back with you when the game is actually underway. I've just realized no one's taken a wound yet. Despite numerous bad plays, we've just sort of not been punished for them or found ways out of the problems we created each time. This Overwatch crawl has taken a good 5-6 turns to get this far, by the way. I know they're either, like, right in this part of the building or right behind it. I just don't know which. I guess we're about to find out when I move up to here. What do we say? Nothing. They're behind the building. Is that true? How much inside do I see? I see a bug that prevents me from seeing anything but the roof of the building. Let me save and load real quick so I can tell what my line of sight actually looks like. Okay, so inside this building, our lines of sight are actually still incredibly limited according to this. So we can't really be too confident from that.
I can handle that.
Let's just go ahead and take some tiny moves forward. Get everyone far enough up that we can all take shots when this inevitably pulls something, but not too much further than that. I think that's it for this turn. Let's see if they come running.
Good seat. Affirmative.
Covered. I'm on it.
They're in the back of that room, I think. I don't think they're all the way around the back of the building. That feels too close. Okay, down here, the furthest forward I can take to get good cover is this position. Didn't pull. Which should mean I'm safe to move here as well. I can crawl up the teeniest, tiniest bit further and try to get more information. Nah, it just says this direction. It stops right there. Which means they're either in this room not moving, right out of vision, like right here, or they're all the way across the building. I don't honestly know which is more likely. Gonna move down a good chunk here. Going to move to full here. Still no pull. Alright, I think we're actually safe on this side of the building. I think they're behind it at this point. Yeah, they've got to be behind the building. They're about to come around the corner, actually. Because originally it was facing here, and then it was coming from here, which means they're moving this way right now. Actually, it comes at the start of their turn. They were right here and we didn't see them, so they're patrolling back and forth behind the building, I think. I'm so confident in that I'm willing to move here and test my theory. Yep. Exactly as predicted. We should be safe then to move everyone onto the roof right now in a mad dash.
Got it. Moving.
We don't quite have room for everyone, so we're just going to be standing in the open with a couple of these people, but it's fine. The important thing is we're off the ground. They can't walk around the corner into us anymore, and we choose when to engage with the high ground. How dare you? How dare you? The first turn that I don't press Overwatch on every single soldier, they sprint around the corner into the edge of line of sight. And you know it was a sprint because none of them got yellow alert actions. That was a full distance move. You know, AI, if I didn't know better, I think you had insider information. Going to grapple up here on Broken Basilisk and get better eyes on the situation. In this pod, we got another gunslinger, 3 troopers, and then a sniper and a biotrooper. Biotroopers from the appropriately named Bio Division. If I'm correct about this, I think biotroopers are just bigger, badder troopers really with gas grenades. Yep, immune to poison, acid, chrysalid poison, and they have their own gas grenades. Not a fan of those guys. Now they have made some pretty dangerous moves down here in terms of the flanks they left open for me. We're gonna try to just move into full cover here and get as many kills as we can. And it looks like we have a lot of full cover flanks on this area. Like these were some dangerous positions on their end. Everyone who wasn't like quite in position to get on the roof is in position to just move here and do something nasty to him. Interestingly, I don't have line of sight on this guy. Oh, the pillar's just barely in the way, I say. I can just drop next to him, but that might not be the best for my long-term health. We've got a little cluster back here, not like a huge amount, but enough that maybe it's worth throwing a grenade. None of these other people really have obviously great moves. One tile away from getting on the inside of the door. I can get on this inside if I clear out these 2 troopers. So let's get started on that. Hopefully we can like land some shots and not low roll our damage. Well, we got half of my wish. I would really appreciate these guys getting finished off. Thank you. I mean, I wish I'd shot with you first, but thank you all the same. Good job, Bio Banshee. You're the only one with this shot. We can get a different flank on that trooper if you succeed. Alright, now it's gonna get real awkward if you mess this up. But as long as you don't mess it up, and then the second guy doesn't also mess it up, it's just good. Alright, you've messed it up a little bit. It's not all bad. You made the second guy more consistent. Is there a flank on a window? Do you have a flank? I don't like that at all. How do I keep underestimating the movement of enemies so much? Anyway, it doesn't seem like there's a real benefit to any of these positions over other ones. This can be flanked, but it's already flanked down here, so it's not exactly different. I guess it's just better lines of sight from here. It also leaves a position for Marionette if I miss this, which is a 22%, pretty likely to miss. Thankfully we didn't. Alright, War Eater. If you could get far forward and chuck a grenade to clear out you don't have grenades. Who's left? Marionette Owl, guess whose job it is? This frag grenade can never be perfect, but it can be pretty good. So let's go for it. Unfortunately, the Biotrooper's cover appears to be indestructible. I always forget that these walls are for some reason on Gatecrasher not really breakable. Oh, damn. I think I would rather take 249s here than a 79 on this trooper. This 79 actually has a 50% chance to low roll, so it's a lower chance to kill than this is anyway. And that guy doesn't have an available flank. I guess I could have blue moved and taken the guaranteed grenade, which would have been a better move than what I'm currently doing. But it's alright, no punish. And we have an 85 on the soldier, but with the chance to low roll. Low rolling a lot of damage on these assault rifles, but they're rookies. What can you really expect from them? I was about to say, if there's a flank from that, I really messed up. I don't think anyone should be flanked there. Scary as hell.
That was close.
That was a 35 with a 1 in 3 damage roll to kill. That was like 11-12% to kill a soldier. Scary as hell. Force level 1 snipers are a little bit spooky. We've got the ripjack on the sniper in the back. If we miss, we have grenades to bring him down, but it's very unlikely that happens. Oh, there's an overwatch. We should really deal with that first. Who down here has a grenade? It turns out none of you do. The game is so much more balanced when you don't have 2 grenades. Jesus Christ. I think everyone except for my skirmishers used their grenade. Nope, here's one. Yeah, we used 6 of our grenades, which checks out. We've killed 17 enemies. Now, awkwardly, we don't actually have a grenade anywhere that targets this well. Like, I can do it on Broken Basilisk, obviously, but that's not pretty. I have so many, like, 45% on this guy. Okay, I've got 2. It's not really so many. But still, 2 is enough that it's worth a shot before I try anything else. Hey, easy solution.
Did you see that one?
Cool, if you could just go ahead and sort that out for me. Skirmisher's not feeling terrible with the buffed aim. With the buffed aim where I can feel like it's safe to ripjack, where it's 1 in 50 and not like nearly 1 in 10, I feel a little bit better about squatty skirmishers. A lot better, even. Let's wrap this up. Let's get out of here.
That's all cool.
Perfect Tragedy. Let's see what your hacking skills are looking like. I don't think anything important's at stake here. Absolutely nothing's at stake here. Not that it matters, because you're a legend, apparently. Good job. The nobody that's alive is real demoralized by this jailbreak.
Everything by the numbers. Mission accomplished.
I'm gonna be honest. I have just played Gatecrasher like 5 or 6 times this morning. It's all I've been doing today. It's like 1 p.m. at this point. So on the one hand, I've been grinding this out and learning to do it, and it's okay that I got flawless. I don't really feel like this one was particularly lucky, but it's not a coincidence that the one that went well is not the one where I successfully got on top of the building in the middle. I keep trying to get on top of this building and take an ambush specifically on the sectoid, and every time I pull the whole map and start taking random wounds. I know it's bad, but in my heart I just refuse to accept it. We did it though. We got a woundless, perfect first Gatecrasher. I don't even think we destroyed any loots. We probably destroyed a couple of corpses, but that doesn't count. Let's check out the mission debriefing. It's my favorite mod. It better have gone to my skirmisher, right? Good. Thank God Broken Basilisk didn't lose to a rookie. 5 kills, 28 damage, MVP. Only 60% shot accuracy, but close range, most high, heavy hitter, overqualified. And then a bunch of rookies giving pretty good performances. Incredible shot accuracy on a Perfect Tragedy. 3 kills, 19 damage. Okay on Jaded Rabbit with 2 kills and 16. Flagship Inferno must have had a really good grenade at some point along the line. No, it's just shots. He only got 1 kill, he just landed a bunch of shots, so it must have all been low rolls. Bio Banshee, kind of weighing down the team a bit, but it's not like it's based on stats, because all these people are identical. War Eater, again, not looking great. It's really just Marionette Owl, Broken Basilisk, and Perfect Tragedy standing out as doing good work. Let's get out of here. Now, the one downside of 8-man campaigns, doesn't really bother me, is that you can't change the troop count on this screen, so you never see the full report. But I always do my promotions to the barracks anyway, so it's no big loss. In terms of loot, we got an Illyrium Core, Laser Sight, PCS for health, not really worth anything to me. Bit of crystals, bit of intel, bit of alloys. Nothing terrible, nothing great. We've got our first engineer and our first scientist. And one of the mods we installed was random starting traits. This isn't from the mission. This is because War Eater started with Firefighter. This icon was actually in the bottom left the whole time. This unit has had experience operating in flame-filled environments and knows how to put themselves out quick. I guess that means fires only last 1 turn on them? I don't really know. Anyway, there's a bunch of tutorials with Covert Infiltration. I'll always leave them up for a second if you want to pause it to understand how it works. This one is just telling you, hey, we've overhauled the whole strategy layer. Consider reading these, they're really important. Now, going over to research. We aren't going to listen to Tyke and talk to us, that's just ridiculous. Looking at this, you can see you have a couple of opening options that are the same as they used to be. But when you look over in the unlocks page, which I'm sure is a mod I'm running, but for the life of me, I can't recall its name, and for that, I'm sorry. You'll see that it partially unlocks alien alloy integration to get hybrid materials. And in fact, so does modular weapons, and I believe alien biotech. unlocks the Officer Autopsy, which unlocks that as well. What Alien Alloy Integration is weapon and item overhaul rebalances a lot of stuff. You'll start seeing it more when we have more classes to play with. And one of the things it does is to lessen the power gaps between tiers and how hard you're forced into going straight for mag weapons, is it adds bridging text. Text between ballistics and mags, and then text between mags and plasma, where they give +1 health and damage to everything from the previous tier, but you don't actually have the next tier yet, to sort of give you more options and not force you as hard into straight for mags. However, what it will be doing me is forcing me really hard into straight for Alien Alloy Integration. First though, I'm going to go for Alien Biotech. I want to get the Proving Ground up and running as fast as possible, and that's going to be coming from the Advent Officer Autopsy. And here you can see a slow scroll of all of the autopsies in the game. There may be quite a few of them. There may be a kind of comical number of them, in fact. Because mods make a long list even longer. Someday we'll be seeing Elite Bio Vipers and Biozerkers and Chrysalid Queens. There's a lot of nonsense to come in the future, but thankfully none of it's anytime soon.
I do find that area.
Now, coming over to engineering, we try to build items. Something you'll notice immediately is there's no Frost Grenade here. Because the Frost Grenade is now a normal grenade type that you build in the Proving Ground like the other grenades. I don't know if you only get one or if you're able to build more of them like most other items in the Proving Ground overhaul, but I know you start by getting it from the Proving Ground now as a result of the Frost Munitions mod. Frost Munitions makes the Frost Grenade scale up and have multiple grenade tiers like all the other grenades, and it adds Frost Rounds that inflict a minor slow and have a small chance to freeze. For now, I don't know what I'm building, and I'm probably going to take a break before I play the strategy layer, because I've been grinding Gatecrasher for 4 hours. Christ. I call myself a legend player. Can't get through Gatecrasher without a death for 4 hours. That's the hardest I've struggled on Gatecrasher in a very long time.
Working with Advent. On the
Real quick, something that doesn't take serious decision making, let's make our Sky Ranger look stupid.
The millions of people.
I don't know that I like this, but this is what we'll be going with for our Sky Ranger for this campaign. Coming over to soldiers, we can look at our random traits. We got Firefighter on War Eater. Good profile, plus 10 defense and cover on Perfect Tragedy. Doesn't he have decent, well, only 41, but that's not bad. Okay, maybe it's like literally perfectly average. Hunter of Stun Lancers, they're all positive so far, so that's really good luck for us. This unit will deal additional damage when encountering any Stun Lancers, that's going to be very helpful later. Firefighter again. Wilderness Survival. Fear of Others Missing Shots, there we go, there's the bad ones. I was starting to get worried, I was like, did I accidentally configure it to be only positive mods? I don't remember even touching this. Getting back to what they are then. For Wilderness Survival training, we have +2 mobility in rural areas. Fear of Others Missing Shots on Lunar Miracle down here. Fear of Poison on Arson Paragon, that's fair. And apparently one of our soldiers doesn't feel like participating in our cool squad names and XCOM flags. So we'll need to change your name, and we'll need a good one, because you're actually competent. In my previous campaign, I picked my A-team based on how much I liked their name. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate that style of gameplay, but maybe I should pick my A-team based on who has 48 will. So congratulations, Dragon God and Bio Banshee. You guys are entering the A-team because you're really high on the will generation. Because, I mean, if I'm investing XCOM AP into these guys and sending them on as many missions as possible, maybe have the will to actually send them on more missions. Get more out of your money. The people we just sent out are actually insane. Flagship Inferno is a 49, Banshee's a 50. Jaded Rabbit's pretty mad, Tragedy's pretty mad. Marionette Owl is a 48, Minuscule Magpie's still a 44, Ward Eaters are 45. We have really good will on that starting squad. Then we get down to the other people, it's like 35, 36, 38, 37 all in a line and balance out eventually. I am going to take a break before I do the rest of the strategy layer. I'm feeling a little bit dazed. I'm so glad to be done with Gatecrasher, man. Alright, I've returned. I've been looking around the Avenger, collecting my thoughts on where to start, and I've stumbled into the tutorial, so let's get this one over with. The resistance ring is no longer needed for covert actions, you just have those all the time now. It's just for resistance orders and upgrades. Speaking of, the GTS no longer gives you squad size, you're a static number in this, but it does still have other upgrades of note. In terms of what we're doing, we won't be building anything. Our supplies are quite low at the moment, we're just going to be excavating more. And the reason why is because I want to make the Proving Ground as fast as possible, make Sparks as fast as possible, because Sparks give you a lot more unit roster depth The fact they don't get tired and can go on assault after assault after assault really helps you out in terms of the inevitable fatigue spiral that you will end up facing. Also, laser sparks are just really strong units. That doesn't hurt. Laser sparks being the name of the Proficiency Spark plugin that I am using.
Advent myself.
Now, coming over to soldiers, most of the random starting perks that we had turned out to be pretty good. We have Firefighter, Good Profile, Hunter of Stun Lancers, another Hunter of Stun Lancers, Wilderness Survival, and Urban Combat Training. We do have 2 that are afraid of things. Fear of Other Missing Shots is pretty funny, and Fear of Poison will probably be cured before Poison actually shows up in the campaign. Looking at our average roll on our soldiers, it's pretty good. We have a lot of very high 40s in here, not too many low 30s. We only have a couple of 35s, 36s, that sort of stuff, which is very good for us. And will is the thing that's going to determine whether or not I make somebody an A-team member, not their combat intelligence. Combat intelligence, to me, is a pretty minor thing. It's a very late-game centric idea. Whereas your will determines how many missions you're going on, and I want my A-team to go on lots of missions. For now, what I've decided will be my arbitrary cutoff is 44. So Minuscule Magpie makes it by the skin of her teeth, and unfortunately, Perfect Tragedy and a Jaded Rabbit will not be A-team candidates. And this affects what classes people are becoming, because I am needlessly thorough this campaign with my plans for which soldiers do what. I've already planned out what the perks are that would cause a soldier to be worth putting on the A-team. And as a result, I know which soldiers where if I promote a high will soldier, it doesn't matter what perks they get, they're always going to be on the A-team, and I know which soldiers I need to roll more than once, probably, to get them on the A-team. Combat Engineers are the worst of the worst in this regard. There are 4 different high-impact perks that I want Combat Engineers to get, and it's going to take forever to hit that. But the good news is that Combat Engineers are one of the best low-rank classes in the game, so my solution to this is in this early part of the campaign, anytime I promote somebody who doesn't have a chance of being an A-team member, I'm promoting them straight to Combat Engineer. It's going to inflate their stats quite a lot. There's going to be a lot more than other classes, but it's going to be a good decision. In the early game, Combat Engineers have 2 things. I'll promote one and then talk about it. Doesn't that just make more sense? Commander's Choice. Obviously, the Commander's Choice mod is something I've installed. And there are 8 proficiency classes in my game. 6 of them are base classes, and then Combat Engineer and Field Support are mods by Mr. Cloysta. They're both very well made. I should say that Field Support is a proficiency variation of Den Mother by Iridar. Anyway, let's make this Combat Engineer. Let's see what he has. Well, he has a cannon, and that's no good, so we'll have to fix that. Looking across these perks, we did hit some of the things I care about, but nowhere near all of them, as is to be expected. The perks that I particularly care about here are Rapid Deployment and Salvo, because in a class that has Smoke Screen, Electronic Surveillance, and Concussion Grenades, where I'm encouraged to run 3 different types of utility grenades, action economy for throwing them is invaluable. The 2 perks that I missed would be Bunker Buster and High Pressure. High Pressure gives you more charges of your flamethrower. Bunker Buster is a cover destruction rocket specifically. And for those who don't know, the way perks work in proficiency classes is there is a perk deck 1 and a perk deck 2 for the first and the last 3 ranks. So there's a separate set of perks for the first 3 and the second 3. So statistically, it's better to want a perk from this deck and this deck as opposed to 2 from this deck. And unfortunately for the Combat Engineer, I want 2 from both decks. Meaning I'm probably never even getting a perfect Combat Engineer, but I am going to be getting a lot of them to try. Next, we're going to give it a shot with Perfect Tragedy, see if he can't make the A-team. Probably not. Bunker... Oh, wait. We're missing one. I don't know what it is we're missing yet. High Pressure. Ah, that's a shame. High Pressure is more important to me. I think if I got High Pressure, Bunker Buster, and one of these 2, I'd be willing to take it. Unfortunate. Very close on Perfect Tragedy, but not quite. And I didn't quite talk about why they're so good. First of all, they have a shotgun. And one of the things you'll notice is there's a lot of text in the bottom right because of weapon and item overhaul. Shotguns have built-in stocks. They always deal 1 point of damage when they miss. They also have a 25% chance to graze per point of armor the enemy has. So that's very relevant. There's a big drawback to that built-in stock. However, it means that Combat Engineers essentially have point-and-click, deal 1 damage as a baseline ability. Their Gauntlet gives them a built-in rocket and 2 built-in flamethrowers. And coming over to their abilities, at Chemical Mixtures, you can see they get a Blade of Health per level. They also start with Blast Padding, giving them a point of armor, 2 ablated hit points, and making them durable enough that if there's only 1 dangerous enemy, I can just walk my Combat Engineer into the open and tank the shot. They'll live. They'll be unhappy about it, but they'll live. And Combat Engineers are generally, as implied by this pile of support perks that I'm very interested in, a very Swiss Army knife sort of character. They're very powerful in that regard. They have a lot of different options and tend to be a perfect 6th, or in my case, 8th member of a squad. And I suppose before I go on too far with this, I should talk about this. This is a proficiency perk. Every class in Proficiency class pack has one. Level 1 is Squatty, level 2 is Sergeant, level 3 is a Major. This perk gets better as you level up, but it just naturally gives you more things that are viewed as core parts of your class. For the Combat Engineer, you're getting more Ablative Health and more Flamethrower perks. They also start with Suppression, a Defensive Mine, which is a free action to lay down a Proximity Mine, and Incinerator, which makes their Flamethrower a little bit better than someone else's would be. Now, on to the people we're promoting that actually get to go to the A team. Something weird is about to happen. There are 4 classes where no matter what perks they roll, they get to be on the A team. So you would think I'm about to promote those 4 classes. But 2 of those classes are Marine and Assault. I want to stack aim on Marines and I want to stack mobility on Assaults. So I'm just going to send some rookies on Covert Ops that happen to have high will. Somebody like Lunar Miracle here with 48 will and Genius Intelligence. That sounds like an 18 character to me. I'm going to send them on a Covert Op to stack something and make them into a Marine or an Assault. So let's go take a brief break from this to look at our Covert Ops. So give me a second while Bradford and Betos scream for a hot second. I just skipped a tutorial by accident. I'm pretty sure I know what that one said, so to the best of my ability to recap it, that one said, there's a lot more missions than normal, but there's no penalty for not doing them. The more bases you have, the more regions you contact, the more missions are going to offer you. You're not supposed to do them all, don't worry about it. And it probably went on a little bit longer than that, but that was the core part of it. Supplies are our first thing that we're doing, which is not a huge deal to me. The skirmishers are calling themselves Hellfire Phalanx this time. Private Channel and Inside Job aren't super great cards to start with, but it's not like I can use them anyway. Let's check out the Covert Ops. Betos is going hard over there. Could you calm down? Okay, so Templars are going to be our first faction. We need a Sergeant to get the Reapers. Templars are going to give hacking +3, so we would like to send a tech specialist to do this. Mobility +1 on the black market, duration 20 days. Form Soldier Bond, duration 8 days, 17, some pretty long stuff in here. Uncovered black market, it's just unusually long. Anyway, Form Soldier Bond is hacking +5. Again, we want to send a tech specialist on that. Breakthrough research isn't happening. We're not stacking mobility there because we're not going to give up our scientist for rapid excavation. That's just not worthwhile. So unfortunately, that mobility just isn't attainable at this point in the game. We have another covert action tutorial here. The number of soldiers and the amount of equipment you send is going to cause them to infiltrate progressively slower and take more time. Unless you have a risk of ambush, there's not going to be any combat, so it's automatically stripping you of all your gear when you send someone for one of these missions. However, the more gear you give them, if there is a risk of combat, the more you increase that risk of combat. And as time goes on, these covert actions will steadily get more and more risks. Anyway, no one on the A team's going on this mission. We're picking someone from the bottom of the list like Lunar Miracle. Do I want Lunar Miracle or Manic Tragedy? Manic Tragedy just appears to be objectively better, so Manic Tragedy. And we'll throw in another rookie with high will so that they can join the A team soonish. Like Renegade Coyote. And there's no alternative gear at this point in time, like nothing we do here. Alright, ignore all of this, we're pretending this isn't a thing. But theoretically, nothing here is even helpful anyway in terms of reducing infiltration time. And our total duration is 22 days. We couldn't stack mobility if we wanted to, because without any disguises, it's just going to take more than an entire supply drop period to do this mission. But get on it. Manic Tragedy is going to be our A-team assault. Now, since we don't have anything to aim stack, we can go ahead and upgrade somebody to Marine. And there is no stacking we need for Medic or Sapper, so we can promote both of those classes as well. And for those 3 classes, I'm going to be picking the people with the highest will, because, again, these are the people guaranteed to make it to the A-team. So congratulations to Flagship Inferno. I'm thinking that of the 3, they're not a field medic, that's for sure looking at them. I think of Marines as being intrinsically blue, and I can't make him blue. Just not something I feel okay with. So I'm going to go with Sapper and have red Sappers as the uniform this campaign. Every campaign I color code my classes for visual clarity. So, Sapper it is. Congratulations on joining the A-team. Did you pull anything interesting? You did! You actually pulled perfect perks. I didn't really care about them on Sappers. But they hit Heat Grenades, Sprint, and Minefield. Covering Fire isn't relevant, Combat Awareness isn't relevant, Unbreakable is nice. The reason I don't care about Sappers 100 hours from now, spoilers by the way, is because I'm probably not bringing one to the final mission. But as far as the best sapper I've got goes, Flagship Inferno's doing great. This is pretty much perfect in my eyes. Bio Banshee is also getting promoted. They're either a medic or a marine. I think them being a medic is a little bit too funny to me, so congratulations to green medics. I'll go through and talk about all these classes once I've sorted out who I'm getting. What did you actually get? I think the only thing here I'd really care about is Sprint, which they did miss, but honestly it doesn't matter to me. And the reason it doesn't matter to me is because they're not actually our A-team medic. They are right now. They will be for a long time. But my A-team medic's going to be a Scion. So much like my Sapper, this character's probably not going to be going to Leviathan, so they're not really an A-team member in my eyes. And when I say they're going to be a Scion, I'm running Psionics Overhaul V3. Psionics is something you do in addition to your base class. So someday, I'm going to start scanning all my medics to see which ones are Psionics, and 4 out of 5 times that's not Bio Banshee, and they don't stay on the A-team. Last up is Marionette Owl, and they are going to be our Marine. Someday we'll be stacking AIM on this character, but there is no AIM to stack today. In terms of perks, they got really, really good ones. Certified CMT is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Bandolier for an ammo slot, Spare Shells for extra sawed-off shotgun shells, Lightning Reflex is kind of, high caliber not so much unless I'm always supporting them with the field support, and Combat Conditioning is good as well. But yeah, this is really good, these first two. I like that quite a lot. However, you're not going to be staying yellow. I'm sorry, my man. I just don't have it in my soul to have Marines not be blue, and I don't really know why. So he will have to change his aesthetic, but I am sure he'll be just fine with that. And this gets us to the part where we start having harder times saying that somebody we promote is actually going to get to go onto the A-team. Because everyone else who's left, Marksman, Field Support, Specialist, and Combat Engineers, all want multiple perks for me to have them be an A-team member. Combat Engineers want so much that I'm just promoting as many Combat Engineers as I can early, because they're super strong early and they'll carry us pretty hard for a while. And with Combat Engineers, I'm accepting that whoever ends up being my A-team Combat Engineer probably has worse will than everyone else on the A-team, just how it is. But with Marksman, Supports, and Specialists, I'm actually promoting high will people to these and just rolling dice. Minuscule Magpie doesn't wear much in the way of armor, so that, to me, sounds like they'd be a Marksman, if they were anything. The perks I'm looking for on a Marksman are specifically Sprint. That's kind of it. Low profile would be nice, really nice, but Sprint is mandatory. I see Sprints, and low profile. Electronic Surveillance, Smokescreen, Defensive Mine, High Caliber, those are all cool and potentially things I'll be interested in. This is amongst like the better sets of perks they could have rolled, but Sprint low profile is exactly what I wanted to see. That gets them directly onto the A-team, and that's everything I really cared about. And now they're Minuscule Magpie the Marksman. There's a bit too many M's going on and all that. Which leaves War Eater. I should have went for tech specs, I just made a mistake. I've got multiple hack stacking missions available right now. Having a tech specialist on deck would be really good. So we're gonna try to roll for a tech specialist here. And it makes sense, they're reminiscent of Silent Cyclone as our previous A-team candidate, right? From our last campaign. What I'm looking for on specialist is once again Sprint and a Salvo, because there are some important utility grenades that they have. Salvo and no Sprint. Wait, Sprint, hell yeah. Oh wait, do they have upgraded scanners too? Nice, very nice. Sprint's the most important ability, it's the one that they actually need. Generally speaking, most of my perk decks are 4 to 5 cards, so I'm likely to see the things that are in the perk decks. However, I'm not guaranteed to see all the things that I think are the best. Sprint, Salvo, upgraded scanners, in my opinion, just the best 3 cards in the second perk deck. Reposition's potentially really nice. Like, later on, you can do things with Marauder, Anti-Armor Doctrine, Reposition, and start using guns a lot on tech specialists, being like budget Marauders. Sorry, budget Skirmishers. But yeah, this is actually my A-team tech specialist. We made it. Now, quick aesthetics check. What are our colors right now? Tech specialist is white. Marksman is Dead Mother. That doesn't work for me. I need customizable colors. This doesn't work. I'm sorry, I've got to butcher the aesthetics. It just doesn't work for me. Alright, sad times with Minuscule Magpie's coloring. They're black now. Sniper's gonna be black again in this campaign. Marines are blue again. Skirmishers or whatever the hell they want to be. Factions don't have color codes. Combat Engineers. Look, orange was a great color last time. It'll be a good color this time. And when Manic Tragedy gets back, their yellow will become the normal yellow of all assaults. Now, this tech specialist we got, War Eater, congratulations, you have missions you need to be going on. Lots of them. They need to locate this faction, which will take 15 days. They also need to form a soldier bond. Huh. Well, let's send somebody who could maybe be an A-team candidate with them, then. What are our risks? Moderate soldier wound? That's fine. We are sending our tech specialist. We're going to send somebody with high will alongside them, 49 on Careless Rambler. We're not going to mitigate that risk. We don't have the money for that. Get +5 hacking here. Maybe get a boost to Careless Rambler. And then when she gets back, we're going to send her right back out on another mission to get even more hacking. Welcome to the A-Team, where you never really go on missions. You just hang out in the Covert Ops screen. Send that out. So these last few missions, I don't want to use a scientist and my assault's busy, so no. And here, combat intelligence doesn't really matter that much. On my skirmisher, it would be nice, but I just want my skirmisher to go on actual missions right now. He's kind of important. So it just leaves the Templar mission. It has hacking +3. In the long term, that's not a huge deal for my tech specialist to lose out on that. And in the short term, getting a Templar before the first terror mission is kind of a big deal. We have to go do that. I really should have done that differently with my tech specialist, but the counterpoint is that doing it this way gets them back in time to go on the terror mission. I don't think what I've done is objectively wrong, but it doesn't feel objectively right at all. It feels very questionable. Oh, I forgot to change this person. You need a new identity. Their history has been redacted, their nationality is XCOM, their new name is Mercury Hawk. And in my opinion, they're looking much cooler. A little bit more skirmisher, but they already had the cape, figured I'd lean into it. They just needed a chest piece that wasn't clipping and a better color scheme than Old House Beige. They did have 46 will, they're an A-team candidate. Phoenix Point here has 49, they can also get promoted into somebody on the A-team, so we're gonna send them out to get them promoted. Begin the action, we need that Templar in time for the terror mission. And these last 3 missions really just are not tenable. There's no reason I could ever justify doing them. The only one I could justify doing is improve combat intelligence on a combat engineer I get. Later in the campaign, I want to be stacking health and dodge from these missions on a combat engineer to make a biological tank. But right now, we don't have an A-team combat engineer, so there's no purpose in doing that. So that's all my promotions and all my covert ops done. We're done with soldiers for the time being. I believe when I was exhausted, I customized the Sky Ranger. That's dopey, I love it. That is everything handled. It's time to begin scanning for supplies, sadly, but it is what it is. We'll need them soon. Sadly, I don't remember the name of barrack status display, but you can see I have force level display installed. Barrack status is being displayed. I'm sure if you search the mod, you will get this one. Tells me what everyone is doing, including how many are ready. This gets very relevant very soon, as you'll shortly find. And we have a new covert op available. Let's see what it is. Activity chains. This is informing us of how this mechanic up here works. Frequently, you'll see some type of mission that leads to another type. This is initially a covert action, like all the stuff we just did. It leads to an infiltration, which we'll talk about more when we get to it. And usually the main rewards are at the end of the chain. The stuff before it is pretty minor rewards. It's mostly just there as a stepping stone for experience and loot, leading to the main reward. Anyway, this one leads to rescuing an engineer. It's kind of important. Putting dodge on somebody would be nice. Otherwise, we don't care about this. So we're just gonna put somebody who's not an A-team candidate in the first slot in case they do become our biological tank combat engineer. Somehow I love that Kangaroo Tycoon is my lowest will soldier. I won't be sending him though. My cutoff is 44. So 43 will is the highest that's never making the A-team. Rowdy Harlequin. And Fantastic Fox. Either of you would make me very happy if you managed to be my A-team combat engineer. And if you don't, at least being one of my earlier combat engineers means you get to hang out as a combat engineer, get a lot of experience, get a lot of showtime in the campaign. I just love Rowdy Harlequin's aesthetic and name. We want more 18 candidates. We still need to roll dice for our supports. And is that it? Did we get everyone else? We have an assault, a sapper, a medic, a marine, a marksman, and a tech spec. Yeah. We just need combat engineers and field supports. Crazy. Our A-team rolling went really, really well this time. I mean, our skirmisher's not who we want him to be. And we don't have a Templar or a Reaper yet, but I mean, insofar as it could have gone well. I'm gonna send Fantastic Fox. We do need to roll that field support though, so I'm gonna send somebody else, Dragon God, to roll for field support. And good luck. I need that engineer, go get him.
We'll do whatever is needed.
And then right back to scanning for the supplies. Always nervously feel like I'm missing something in the beginning of the game. Just never goes away no matter what version of XCOM I'm playing.
Objective added.
Now, this gives us the ability to examine the Advent Officer's corpse, which we will immediately do, because that gets us the Proving Ground and one step closer to Sparks. That'll be done in 5 days. I was noticing this pop-up was still floating around on the screen right here, and I was wondering if it was a new covert op. It was not. Officer Autopsy is finishing. And that means the Proving Ground is ready. Wait a second. I got thrown off a little bit by the time. I was like, wait a second, we've done 8 days of research. Didn't I have something in the facilities that should have taken 5? We left Skirmisher HQ though, so it's taking twice as long. It's almost done. It's taking 10 now.
If we're going to try to build this skull jack that type,
Yeah, no, we won't be making a power relay breakthrough. I appreciate the idea, but no. We're gonna do modular weapons, hybrid materials, and then alien alloy integration.
I'll notify you.
And very importantly, Proving Ground immediately. And in fact, I don't care about this by comparison at all. 1 day faster on the Proving Ground is not worth like 20 days slower on the Resistance Ring though. That would be bad decision making, so never mind, I'm gonna let that keep going. There's definitely an argument I should have waited to build that here. What do I mean there's an argument? I can just not. I can cancel this and just build it over here instead. And the reason is if I build a workshop here, I'm gonna have my Proving Ground staffed all the time, so I want it adjacent to the workshop. So yeah, I'm gonna let this finish and then build the Proving Ground. That's 2 days slower, which does suck, but it's not the worst deal in the world compared to the long-term effect of never having the engineer where it's supposed to be. And we'll keep scanning for these supplies, which should be interrupted shortly by that excavation. Normal missions generate fatigue, so do covert actions. And it's warning me not to do too many at once. We will not be heeding that warning. If you watch my previous campaign, I'm gonna push my roster to the absolute limit every single chance I get. We're gonna live this entire campaign right on the edge of a fatigue spiral, and we're never gonna learn any lessons. Warriors tired, Careless Ramblers promoted. Let's go see how it went for them. And they can bond if I want to. Let's go ahead and wrap this up though, because I want to get this started before I forget about it. The debris is clear, we can build the Proving Ground, and we want to double time it. Now with the extra supplies we just got from that, we can also start the Resistance Ring. Guerrilla Tactics tool without the upgrade for squad size is something you can put off for a long time. We do want it, because it's going to give us the ability to run adaptive combat sims, which is very, very nice, but just not yet. Actually, thinking about this long term, this is 3 power, and another 3 power here for the workshop would cap me out. But I'm running something called Living Space. I don't know if you've noticed it yet. 29 out of 35 crew, it's part of Covert Infiltration, and once I go over that, for every soldier over 35, we heal 10% slower. There are upgrades for Living Space over here. I can come right here, I can click on upgrade, you can see we need some more Illyrium crystals, 100 supplies, and most importantly, 1 power. If we were to build something here, here, and here, any 3 would cost us the power that we have left, the remaining 6 power. We wouldn't have the power to upgrade living quarters, and this is the problem I had last campaign. So I'm actually not gonna build this. Even though I could build it, I want to be building a workshop next and upgrading living quarters. I don't have the power. Anyway, coming over, Kara's Rambler has a promotion. He's supposed to be joining the A-team. Is it team? What's his will? 37 to 49. It's great. Yeah, he's an A-team candidate. We don't have a field support yet. It's all that's left. And once I have all the classes, so after I make Careless Rambler into our first field support, I will go through and talk about all of them in one nice block. I'm just saving it until roughly the end of the video for people who've already seen it and want to call it quits early when I get to the rambling about class ability segment of the video. So, for my field support, the perks I have listed as the things I really care about are Support Grenadier, which gives you a grenade pocket, and I think that's it, but still. That's nice. It might do more than that. And rapid deployment, which lets you throw a utility grenade as a free action. You can see how those might be related to a class called support. Let's see it. I think we missed one. I think we missed rapid deployment, yeah. Damn shame. The reason rapid deployment's so nice on this class is electronic surveillance gives you more free battle scanners, and upgraded scanners makes them an AoE chance to hit and crit debuff. Being able to do that as a free action is a really big deal. You also have smokescreen on this class, again, so there's a lot of value you get out of rapid deployment. You know what? It's not rapid deployment, but it does make them not a turn-ending action. I didn't know that. So rapid deployment would give me another action, which would be really, really nice. But it's not necessary. I knew Support Grenadier did something else. For now, I'm going to stop making field supports, because I know I'm going to get one guaranteed on our first terror mission. More about that when we do get to that mission, but it's because of the Rescue Den Mother mod. The person who gets attacked in the cutscene is actually a recruitable soldier now, if you save their life. So for now, I'm going to stop worrying about the A-Team. I'm willing to accept Careless Rambler as my A-Team Support Grenadier. Unfortunately, white, gray, black, and blue, every color on this character is already taken, so he'll be needing a new color. And I'm feeling a fabulous deep purple. These are field supports that really didn't get to show up their vibrant nonsense last campaign, did they? Now, something I did in the previous campaign is I didn't form bonds early. I tried to save them for A-Team pairs in the super late game once I knew what my A-Team was around the end of the second month. That's wrong. Bonds are not necessary for the A-Team to curb stomp. You invest so much into your A-Team that they're going to be just fine. What they do is they make the early game safe, so War Eater and Careless Rambler are forming that bond immediately. Sure, make a goofy poster. Eater and Rambler, Thunder and Lightning, sign me up. I am all aboard that hype train. NF mod you can immediately see here is I have color-coded bond flags, where every bond is a different color. I don't know how it's determined, hardly matters to me. What matters is that they're visually distinct and it's not as confusing. And as soon as we're getting to the point where we're about to outfit a squad for our first mission, I will talk about all of the classes, but for now, we're going to keep on plowing through. That's our 56 supplies. Our next objective is rookies, sign me up. That's what I was expecting to spend most of my supplies on anyway, is buying more manpower. We'll keep on scanning here. Assault mission, extract avid supplies, it's a smash and grab. So, let's see if it'll give us a tutorial before we go in. I don't think it will. Lightning Strike, the Lost. That's just good for us. The Lost are a distraction, Lightning Strike gives us more speed. The reward is whatever we can get our hands on, as many crates as we can steal. So an assault mission is your standard normal mission from original XCOM. As opposed to guerrilla ops and all of that jazz, assault missions, here's the tutorial, are what you're used to from base game XCOM 2. Unlike Infiltration mission and Covert actions, Infiltration time and risk are just not a mechanic here. However, they're also generally at higher difficulties than those missions. Now, normally, on your second mission, you'd expect to send a lot of soldiers that, have classes. Right? If I were to tell you I'm about to send 8 rookies, that would seem weird to you, correct? Because I'm about to send 8 rookies. And the reason will become apparent tomorrow when I play this mission. But it turns out that having real classes isn't going to help us. Because our real soldiers cannot possibly fight this. This is a mission where you're meant to sneak in, get what you can, and go. And our soldiers, our best team that we could send out, wouldn't be able to do it. So I'm just going to let these people heal back up to full will and send out some rookies to try to get some promotions off of the Lost. In terms of who I'm sending, though, I'm just sending whoever has the highest will across the board. We got a 44 on Fool's Idol, a 44 on Arson Paragon, 48 on Lunar Miracle. Someone's gonna miss their shots and make her lose their mind, but it's fine. 46 on Ricochet Dance. 46 on Code Rookie. That's a hell of an outfit he has, goddamn. 43 on Fantastic Fox, and I think we're down to the 30s now. 35, 36, 38, 37, 39, 35, 39, and 38 it is. We're bringing Dark Horse and Total Halibut. And they're gonna go in basic gear, because that's what we own and they're rookies. There's nothing else to it than that. But we're not done yet. Let's go talk about the classes. They're not gonna come into play today, but I will spend the rest of this video explaining what all the proficiency classes do. At least all the ones that I'm running. Let's start with the Skirmisher, because we actually talked about them a little bit. Apparently, I've never clicked on him yet. That's a shame. He only has heavy hard points. Well, obviously, he has 5 other perks, and it's not like Remote Start and Flush Him Out do nothing. They're very, very good perks. However, specifically, the one perk he doesn't have that I really need him to have if he's going to stay on the A team is Shredder. Without that, the next Skirmisher who comes along is gonna replace the guy, and there's nothing he can do about it. Shredder is too valuable in the late game to accept a Skirmisher who doesn't have it onto the A team. He has everything else to his credit. He has heavy hard points, cool under pressure for the aim bonus on his Blade Storm, Remote Start, Flush Him Out. He has literally everything except the most important perk, and it's a travesty. I won't be going through all of the perks on all the trees. What I'm going to be doing is going over the base mechanics of each class, and I've already talked about this. It's just a quick recap before we get into the rest of it. The scaling mechanic here is Heat Sink. I'm going to wait for Betos to stop. So, the proficiency mechanic, Heat Sink. Obviously, it gives you all the heat stuff I talked about before. Shooting your gun gives you 2 heat. Using Overwatch gives you 1. Every point of heat gives you 7.5% crit chance, and every 2 points gives you 1 damage. And every heat has a 20% chance to be lost at the end of the round. Once you pass 100%, you essentially get a chance to lose 2 heat. And then at levels 1, 2, and 3, Squatty, Sergeant, Major, you get different grappling abilities. You start with Grapple, then you get Justice, then you get Wrath, and they all share a cooldown, unless you take this ability to get rid of the shared cooldown and reduce all the cooldowns by 1. Now, coming over to Combat Engineer, because we've also talked about them already. Their base ability, Chemical Mixtures, Blast Padding, Abrasive Shielding, and they get the use of the Gauntlet with its Flamethrower and its Rocket Launcher. Everything else just scales up that Blast Padding and improves the Gauntlet. Now your Flamethrower can disorient once you hit rank 3, or level 2 rather, and then at level 3 you get Fire and Steel, which makes your Gauntlet do +1 damage with fire attacks, and Quick Burn, which gives you a free Flamethrower that does not cost an action. A very, very strong ability. They also come built in with Suppression. It's a lot of text to say that you have normal suppression and zone suppression, and if you're using a cannon, the zone suppression will be bigger. You have Defensive Mine. It is a blue action that does not reveal you to drop down a proximity mine that deals 4 to 5 damage. It's very nice. And Incinerator to make your Gauntlet shoot a wider flamethrower. And this brings us to the classes we haven't yet talked about: Field Medic, Field Support, Marine, Marksman, Sapper, and a Tech Specialist. Let's start with our Tech Specialist. They're tired, they deserve it. They start with protocol packages. Aid Protocol, Blinding Protocol, and Combat Protocol all start as baseline abilities that you have. They have 1 initial charge. It takes 5 turns for them to recharge. As they level up, they're going to get Haywire Protocol and Repair Protocol for free. And at Sergeant, they're also going to get their protocols to start being a blue move actions instead of turn ending. At level 3/rank 6, all your protocols start with an extra charge and recharge 1 turn faster. Just a really good thing. All the Tech Specialist stuff is built in, baked in, you get it as you level, and your specializations, your perks are going to do more specific things. You can hack. I don't know if you knew that, but you can hack. Failsafe, however, very cool. It's a blue move action that gives you +15 hacking for the rest of the turn, and if you fail, nothing bad can happen. Very useful for trying to hack threatening enemies in the late game. Aid Protocol, you know what it is, only you don't, it's been changed. It's essentially a ranged smoke grenade now. It's going to scale up in size with the tech level of your Gremlin. Our Sapper, looking absolutely ridiculous. Their base ability, Explosive Ordnance, gives them +3 environmental damage and a grenade pocket. At level 2, their grenade pocket gets an extra charge. It does not work on frost grenades. They also reduce the scatter if you're using rockets. I'm not. However, they gain the ability to get a crit at a 25% chance for +1 damage. Kinda minor, but it makes you feel good when it happens. At level 3, you get another extra grenade, even more or less scatter, and now you get an additional 5 environmental damage, another base damage, and +1 on crits. The major buff you get for your grenades is fairly massive. You also get Launch Grenade, of course. You are a Sapper, it is your whole job, and Defensive Mine, just like the Combat Engineer. Although I should say that the Combat Engineer gets it just like the Sapper, as the Sapper is the baseline class. For the Marine, they're sort of the other half of the inspiration for the Combat Engineer. Here you can see that their scaling ability, I suppose that's not the way to show it, they have Suppressive Fire. And they also have Sustained Fire, which is Marauder, except the second shot can't be an actual shot, it has to be a reload or an Overwatch or a Suppression. And later in the tree, they can actually just fully upgrade it to Marauder if they're using rifles, or something a little bit more specific to Marauder if they're using cannons. So this is the suppression cannons half of the Combat Engineer that you can see. And at level 1, they come with the ability to set a reaction threshold. If their shot is less than, say, 33%, they're just not going to take it when they have Overwatch. They're going to wait for a better shot. That's incredibly helpful for a class specialized in Overwatching. They also get a 10% aim bonus on reaction shots and the ability to crit on them. Then at level 3, that bonus goes up to 15%, and they get a free additional round of ammo in their magazines. Before at level 3, it goes all the way up to plus 20%. Very, very nice. Marksmen are built entirely around the ability Brace now. Brace gives you plus 8 tile vision and weapon range. It also gives you access to some of your abilities, and namely, one of those abilities is Squad Sight. In addition, they just come with Phantom now. All snipers have individual concealment, and their basic backup weapon is a holo targeter. Personally, I almost always go with the pistol. I find my snipers are so action hungry that I never have time to holo target with them. And the main reason that you want to brace is because of precision targeting. This is a scaling bonus that is active while you're braced. It's going to reduce aim penalties by squad sight by 10%, reduce the target's chance to dodge by 10%, and give you 10% crit chance to unflanked targets. And this goes up to 20% at level 2 and 25% at level 3. These are just fairly large bonuses that you get for being braced. So the sniper is much more aggressively encouraged to set up camp somewhere now. Field Medic is incredible. Its main ability... Does it not have Triage at level 1? It does, good. Its main ability, in my opinion, is Triage. Triage says that healing people now affects how bad their wounds are. You can heal them up to 45%. If they took a full health wound, they'll be calculated as though they only got dropped to 45% health if you heal them up to that. And if you end the mission without healing them, it will automatically use your medkits on the most wounded targets to get that Triage healing for them. You have an arc thrower as your backup weapon, but again, much like the marksman, I tend to just take a pistol. I don't really tend to use the arc thrower very much at all. A medical specialist makes you a medic. It gives you a free medkit charge and more charges on your medkits. Then at level 2, you get a revive charge, and healing abilities heal 1 more hit point, and damn it, Bradford, not now, I'm almost done. And at level 3, you get another free medkit charge and heal for another additional hit point. They're just... all of this stuff, medical specialist and triage, are just like abilities that in the base game you have to spend perks being a medic. It's not really a choice, that's why you're bringing a character, you have to get those abilities. And they're just baked in now. That's part of what I like about proficiency classes so much, is these intrinsic scaling methods we have that make it obvious how things work. And it occurs to me now, I don't have an assault to talk about, they're a rookie on a mission right now, but I'll talk about them next episode when they get back. Field support, this is our last class, it is another one added by Mr. Cloista, I guess I should say by him and Iridar, and it is not a support class like the medic is, where it's providing a valuable thing to the team that isn't fighting. It is a support class where it is an actual force multiplier that makes our other soldiers better. Its basic ability is tactical flexibility, it just gives you a bunch of abilities as you level up. At level 1 you get supply run. When you use resupply ammo, which is an ability we'll talk about in a second, or bandage throw, which is an ability later in the tree, you get a movement only action point back. Then at level 2 you get adrenaline rush, which is run and gun, but you get a damage penalty when you use it, and a low profile, so you take up less of the cover budget for your team. Then at level 3 you get phase, so that you're able to move around and do stuff without actually getting shot, and you get sprint to move around and do stuff even more, because there's a lot of things this character wants to be moving around and doing. First of all, they have a grapple gun. That gives them integrated grapple, and also gives them the ability to grapple loot, and they have abilities later in the tree that are pretty slick, such as reposition ally, where you grapple your teammates. Their backup weapon is the holo targeter, and unlike everyone else, not only do they not have an alternative to the holo targeter, I wouldn't want it, because they're actually meaningfully incentivized to use it with perks like AoE holo targeting that lasts for an additional round, and does more. And here we have resupply ammo. You load someone else's gun. You don't even need to be next to them, you toss them the clip. And it's even better than that, because if you're carrying experimental ammo, you give that to them until they reload as well. It does replace their existing one, which can be awkward in the late game, but usually, if you're using resupply ammo, it's because you want to give them the ammo type. It's almost never a downside. So this is a really, really cool class. Even at the base level, when you're just like reloading people's guns, but it's basically a free action because you get to move after you do it, and you have a holo targeter. Like, there's not that much going on, but you can already see how it's helping the rest of the team from level 1, and it's going to build really well on that idea. I feel sort of weird specifically talking up this class and not the other 7 that are all equally well designed, but I think it's just because I've never seen a successful support class before in XCOM. Like, all the other classes, like, they kill people. Even the field medic kinda kills people. And its job is to unkill people, so it's still directly related. But this is an actual support class, and I've never seen one work before. Support classes in Long War I were like, and then we made the whole team invisible 3 times. And that wasn't support, that was just breaking the game. That was support in the biggest air quotes possible. So I'm just really hyped that field supports exist and work well. And that's it for going over the classes. All that's left for today is to go do this smash and grab. And as I said earlier, these people, they don't need skills. They don't need to shoot their guns. They're here to mark crates and run for their lives, and that's what they're gonna do. I'll see you with that next time. I've been rather incoherent. I imagine this video went on a long time because the first one always does when I'm explaining mods, and the first couple will still take a good chunk of time. But this will by far be the longest one, I imagine. Until we get to the terror mission. That's gonna be rough. That's for another day, though. I've been rather incoherent. Hope you're enjoying the series. Hope you're enjoying me frantically trying to explain 400 mods worth of content in passing sentences. And I'll see you in the next one.